everyone, and welcome to Another Bite, where we rewatch the most innovative and intriguing pitches from Shark Tank. I'm Jorie, and I'm joined by the ambitious, the adaptable, and the admirable Ariel.
Hey, everyone.
Yes, like golf, but also the number of sharks that enter the tank ready to take a bite out of today's product. It's a feeding frenzy that will make these founders want to party. Will this innovative new yard game be a hole-in-one, or will the sharks find them not up to par? We'll spill the tea after this break.
With smaller budgets and sky-high expectations, growth is feeling pretty painful right now. But HubSpot just announced more than 200 major product updates to make impossible growth feel impossibly easy. Like Breeze, a suite of new AI-powered tools that help you say goodbye to busy work and hello to better work. Breeze Intelligence to give you the richest, most comprehensive picture of your prospects and customers. And introducing the reimagined Marketing Hub and Content Hubs to attract and convert more leads and send your revenue soaring. Visit HubSpot.com/spotlight to learn more.
Today in the tank, we have Bucket Golf. And Bucket Golf is brought to us by founders Tyler and Jen, their siblings. And they are asking for $1 million for 10% in their business, which I believe is the biggest valuation we've seen thus far on this season of Shark Tank, which is $10 million. So that's a lot of math. The problem that they're trying to solve for is that golf can be really hard, really expensive, and it takes up space if you're going to do it at home. So their solution is a new way to play golf in your yard. It comes with these portable buckets that are sort of like those laundry buckets that spring up and spring close. So it's easy setup.
Pop-up buckets.
They're pop-up buckets. And you set them up around your yard in kind of whichever configuration you want. And then you use your golf club to essentially tee up and try to shoot your ball into these buckets. Of course, the hole is the bucket.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's Bucket Golf in a nutshell. So thinking about our product, our pitch, and our founders, knowing that also they're only doing online sales as of this pitch. Thoughts on Bucket Golf, Ariel?
Speaking of great gifts for dad, like we talked about in a previous episode, I feel like this is a great gift for dads in their backyards who have settled into family life, no longer can go golfing with the boys anymore and need that golf outlet. I feel like there's a very specific audience.
You got a depressed dad?
Yeah.
Here you go.
No, not depressed, an adjusting dad, adjusting to losing his freedom for being a
That's
father.
branding and marketing at its finest. Very mindful, very demure.
Very mindful about the phase that he's in right now. It's a new era for him. He's starting off. I can build a persona.
Dad in his adjusting era.
So my initial thought was, this is basically disc golf, but just with golf.
Yes.
It feels very like Hasbro-y, like almost like a toy playset in some way. I had a difficult time taking this as seriously.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a golfer, but even just looking at like little plastic golf clubs, like it felt like it's either something that needs to be catered towards kids, or like how our founders are positioning it, if it is meant to be a replacement, versatile, solution of playing golf on the go without having to go to a country club or pay memberships, it just felt kind of unserious to me in a way.
Yeah.
We've seen other companies before, like Smashball or like other backyard kind of games, but this feels like maybe this is great to have like at a kid's party, or you're looking for something to do while everyone's together. But I don't see Little League starting up for this.
Yeah.
I'm going to get my bucket golf.
This is not pickleball.
Exactly. It's trying to be pickleball, I feel like.
You bring up such a good point. The golf persona, the people shelling out thousands of dollars for their golf clubs, I don't think they're going to be into this. I think that part of why Smashball and Spikeball and even Pickleball to a certain extent has been so successful is they aren't trying to market it towards like the serious professional, badminton players or volleyball players of the world. They're really just trying to market this as like something fun that you do with your family, something fun that you do with their friends. But these founders are really so keyed into like, this is for the golfers to do in their backyard. And I think you're right. I think they will actually find this a little bit goofy, if we're being honest. And I think that they're looking at the large success that things like Spikeball segment that had happened and was like extremely successful, but they're not really understanding where that true success comes from and why it had such a big total addressable market. Granted, as of the Shark Tank, these founders have like $5.9 million of sales. They're projected to do $12 million in sales. My recommendation is like really key into who is buying your product. We don't really get a breakdown of like who their buyers are.
Yeah.
But I put good money on the fact that I bet they're not actually your serious golfers, because your serious golfers, they're going to find a way to get to that golf course with their buddies or their family. They're not setting up shop backyard. So I just felt like the messaging was disjointed of like who this is really for, because I bet it's for families. I bet it's for people looking for the next fun thing to give their kids instead of like croquet mallets.
If their issue is just their messaging that they have, but it's not actually the product themselves, maybe this is my marketing hat being put on. I would much rather have to solve the problem of how do you adjust messaging. That's so much easier to adjust and less costly than like the product itself.
Oh, yeah. What was your take on the fact that it's actually fulfilling orders that they need a shark for? Who is their dream shark in this case? Because I don't know who our logistic shark is. Like, who's killing it at operations and distribution? Like, maybe Damon, who also was one of the original investors in Spikeball before that deal fell apart. But that was very curious to me, because I was like, oh, this is going to be a marketing play or a retail play, and it's a logistics play.
Usually when folks come on Shark Tank, they have a very clear path to what they want to utilize the venture capital for. Usually it's marketing efforts, meeting POs, because they have a big PO that's like coming up that they need to fulfill. But the fact that they're like, we just want a shark to manage the operations, you don't need a shark for that.
You need a better team.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You could hire a VP or a head of logistics and operations, but like if your shark and investors are responsible for the operations of your business, that's not a business that's set up for success.
Also, your investors are not going to want to be handling the day-to-day of your business as a business founder.
They've sold businesses like to move on from doing the tactical things like that. Like,
yeah. Do you think it was actually not for logistics? Do you think it was for like a clout play? Like, are they just getting on Shark Tank to get on Shark Tank? So we're seeing through your transparent reasons. We see this as a clout play, bucket golf.
I don't know, Jorie. They had so much money behind the business. Like with the sales that they've had, almost 6 million, right?
Yeah. But their profit is only 15 to 20%.
Yeah.
Was that a red flag for you?
I'm thinking about the truffle company that we reviewed a while back and like thinking about like their profit as well. Like this isn't like a higher priced item that they're bringing into market. They're not selling it through retailers. It's all e-commerce, right? So it's all direct to consumer. So there shouldn't be any margins that they have to think through in terms of getting this on the shelf.
Yeah, they're bleeding somewhere, right? Because they say that the cost landed on this 9-hole bundle, which is like the big one, right, is $60, but they sell it for $199. So then where's the money going? How much are they paying themselves?
I mean, it's a fair question, but like $200 for a game. And they made almost 6 million so far. I wonder how many units have been returned or just haven't sold through. Because that's my second thought is typically in stores, when you have a lot of inventory and you have things like expiration dates, like let's use like yogurt, for example.
That's very specific.
I know. Sorry.
Did you just buy yogurt on sale?
No, I'm pulling from my experience as a general most because we ran into this one time. I'm like, wait.
Okay, so you have like data on yogurt sales. Okay, love that.
Yeah,
okay.
I'm sorry.
I love that. Nope, we're doing it. No. We're doing yogurt.
Okay. So when buyers have a product in their portfolio that's not selling through as fast enough, or they have a backlog of inventory, or they need to clear out shelf space, they'll oftentimes mark down things at the store at a cheaper price to help sell through the inventory. So I'm wondering if from Bucket Golf, maybe they did sell a ton of units, but maybe there was either a lot of returns. Maybe they have to like cover refunds or some kind of model there that they didn't really share much with us. I'm sure you're not wrong of how much are they paying themselves is a good first question, but I'm also wondering too, how much of it is like the product experience that folks are returning in their product or they're asking for a refund, and that's eating up a good amount of like their profit.
Definitely good point. I know they always tell you to like assume positive intent. And anytime I see an entrepreneur on Shark Tank, I just don't. But let's see real quick. I'm just going to run a quick Google search. It does seem like overall Bucket Golf has really high reviews.
Yeah, on Amazon. Because I'm looking at this too, and everyone's like raving about it. It's a 4.6 on Amazon.
Yeah, but okay. The reviews, they're not going to tell us that much in terms of returns. But I was looking specifically to see if people had mentioned like quality of product, because another thing too that I could think about is that You get clubs with the set, I believe, and I guess they are metal with pieces of plastic on them.
I like how you're just like, you're analyzing the actual product and you're like, it costs this much for this material to be like, where is the math?
Yeah, I don't know. There's something about those numbers that like the math isn't mathing for me. But again, we only get a snapshot and who knows how much they actually like gave to our sharks. I think you know what it is. The sharks got really excited about this because I think in the back of their mind, they're thinking spike ball, they're thinking smash ball, they're thinking about products like this that can just go to the moon. I think we've seen just as many products that don't, but that's just my hot take. But we get Kevin jumping in. And all of the sharks that start to go in, they do go in at that $1 million. Granted,
surprises me.
Yeah, the equity percentage changed, but they didn't even blink at that $1 million. And I think it is just like the credibility of the past successes kind of working with them, because I think because Spike Ball gets brought up in the segment, I think in the back of their heads, that association and like that, I think more so than Smash Ball, completely blew up and was ultimately one of the biggest misses for Kevin and Damon.
For our sharks that didn't invest. And they're probably like, oh my gosh, I need to get on this train now. So it almost helps
It's like that scarcity model almost. I need to get in this now.
Or FOMO. Just FOMO. I missed out on investing in Scrub Daddy. I missed out on investing on Smash Ball.
So they all go in. They start going in at $1 million. We get Kevin and Damon starting at 25%. I loved Lori's undercutting presence here because I also skeptically didn't think that Lori actually wanted the deals. I think she was driving the equity down because she wanted to see how low the other sharks would go. So she jumps in and Damon and Kevin start at 25%. She's like, fine, I'll do it for 22%, but they have to be preferred stocks. So she gets her distributions first. Then you see Mark start to think about this. Mark is very smart as a shark. I feel like he's always the last one to speak on the best products because he always is looking to just like get the best deal. He comes in for $1 million for 15%. And Lori, again, undercuts his deal and it's like, fine, I'll give you $1 million for 12.5%.
Good strategy.
And I think that was the moment where I was like, I'm not sure if she wants it. I think she wants Mark to make less money on this.
Roll in a bit.
Yeah, it's business. Yeah. They also are in business so much together that it's like, I think that they're somewhat friends. But Mark took that gauntlet, picked it right up and said, that's fine. I'll do $1 million for 12.5%. And I think once Mark jumped in, that was like very much their dream shark. So they made a deal with Mark for 12.5% of the Bucket Golf Company for $1 million. Amazing. Apparently, again, they need this money to bolster their inventory, but ultimately wanting help on the operation side. We'll see.
But who's ordering?
We'll see.
How many orders do you have that you can't fulfill if it's direct to consumer? Like, how are you that overloaded and inundated?
Yeah, like, what are your Amazon numbers?
Unless if you did go on Shark Tank because you're like, yeah, our Amazon numbers are going to go up and...
Tell you what. I think this is a clout play.
It's a chicken and the egg type thing.
How would you sell 1 million of these if you had to stay e-commerce? What's your campaign of choice?
Arguably kids. I don't know why I just keep thinking back to this being like a child's toy.
Because it's an outdoor game.
It's for all ages.
It kind of is,
But you know how kids like, how 1 week they'll really love like soccer and then like 2 months later they'll be like, I want to try tennis or I want to try golf. And this is such an affordable way for parents to dabble in golf because golf is an expensive sport to get your fitted clubs for, to get like tea time, all of that. It takes a lot of money and effort and lessons. So I think I would kind of lean into like the parenting route a little bit of like, hey, if your kid's interested in this, set this up at their birthday party or like host your own course or like come up with your own little fun course that you can make up in your neighborhood. Maybe like little cul-de-sac parties. Like, I don't know. I would encourage fun little parenting party kits that they can like make and take in like their neighborhood with their kids to play and like kind of do a very like grassrooty, I guess, kind of approach there. But I mean, they seem to be killing it on Amazon too. So they may not even necessarily need to have any on the ground word of mouth type efforts. Suburban hell.
I love your suburban hell campaign. It could be such easy messaging to be like, it is a very common problem that kids these days are on their devices so much. I know. Get off your phones, kids. But they're on their devices a lot. And like having new and fun, innovative ways to get your kids outside and bonding with the family, I think could be really strong messaging of like bringing the family together in like this fun way and like starting to like build challenges in your backyard. I actually don't think that they need too much of a stretch in terms of like campaigns during the summer, especially to get folks outside. So that's totally fair. But clearly, I mean, they're in the millions in terms of sales. They've got a shark behind them. They're doing just fine. This was, again, a segment that occurred during this season of Shark Tank. So no, they didn't go out of business within a couple months. They're very much still around at bucketgolfgame.com. And after the episode aired...
Did it blow up?
I will tell you. This is part of why I think it might be a clout play. It blew up. So it broke its daily sales record and achieved 50 times that level of sales after the episode aired. So it's like, if they went on Shark Tank for clout, they got it and it blew them up.
There better not be any more logistics issues after this. Like, honestly, like, I know. Like,
I think it wasn't a logistics play. They wanted that 50 times. Like, they're already selling a lot per day, and to achieve that, like 50 times the sales, that's wild to me. So very much at least initial Shark Tank success for this company.
Would you buy this, Jorie?
No, I'm not the persona. Absolutely no. I don't like yard games.
I feel like that would be fun. Like, if you ever host your friends to come over and, like, you know, instead of cornhole, this could be a fun little, you know how like cornhole was a thing for a while and everyone like had one like in their backyard.
I feel like that's still a thing.
It's still a thing. I don't have friends. That goes to show. But like, I think that could be like a fun little backyard activity for like a barbecue or something. Like,
sure.
I don't know.
Let's host a party together next time and we'll put this up in the backyard.
Okay. We should have a Shark Tank themed party where it's like Shark Tank foods and products and just do like an experiential, like that. It's like an Airbnb where we just stuff it with like Shark Tank things.
Another bite live experience at the next inbound. We'll see. I love that for us. Yes. Who would come to that? You tell us in the comments. You come into our Shark Tank party. Love that, Ariel. No, I will not be buying that. Even then, I am not the persona for this. I don't care anything about golf. But I'm glad that they're successful.
Yeah.
We love an entrepreneurial spirit.
Yeah.
Production for today's episode was brought to you by Arie Desormeaux. Editing comes from Robert Hartwig and support from Alfred Schulz. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify Podcasts, or wherever you subscribe to the greatest podcasts ever. That does it for me. See you next week in the tank for another bite.
I want to tell you about a podcast I think you might like if you want to succeed in sales. It's called Sales Evangelist, and it's hosted by Donald Kelly. Each week, you'll learn about the successful strategies used by the world's best sales experts and successful sellers. You'll hear from folks like Jeffrey Gitomer, Jill Conrath, Bob Berg, and Guy Kawasaki. You'll get actionable insights and stories that will encourage, challenge, and motivate you. If you want to take off in your sales career and earn the income you want, find Sales Evangelist wherever you get your podcast.